The next topic is permits. Do you pull a permit or you don't pull a permit? Well, a lot of that depends on just how stringent your permit police are in your town or your county. Now, I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that we should go out and break laws. But, you know, these laws, if we think about them, are not going to kill anybody. No one's going to get injured or wounded. And if there are some permits that we should pull that could risk that, then we definitely pull the permits. But let me tell you this. I've done hundreds of roofs in my lifetime. I haven't pulled permits on very many of them. Now, what's my rationale? It's not that I don't want to pay the fee, because I don't mind paying the fee. The problem is they just slow your job down to a crawl. They'll get there to inspect when they get there. They won't tell you what time they're going to get there. They'll just say sometimes between 8 and noon. So I got people sitting around for 4 hours doing nothing, waiting on a guy. Then maybe he shows up, maybe he doesn't. And there's nothing to do about it. You know, one thing you don't ever want to do is chew an electrical or roofer's inspector's ass out, because that'll make your job really hard. So you got to always keep a smile with them, no matter how they abuse you or what they do to you, and you've got to keep a good relationship with them. My thought process was, you know, if they catch me, they catch me. I'll pay the fine and the permit, but I'm going to make them earn that money. You know, I was doing roofs over the weekends. I was making sure that all the debris was being put in the backyard instead of the front yard. I was making sure that we were doing the roof in 1 or 2 days before Monday rolled around. And I did a lot of roofs. And it wasn't the point to circumvent material quality or the workmanship quality, because we wanted to do everything by the book. I just didn't want to have to slow down to their pace. So I'm not saying it's right. I'm telling you what I did. Now, lately, in the same town where I did do these things without permits, I wouldn't do it one time right now the way things are. They've hired way more inspectors. They've gotten way more sophisticated about how they are being able to bust you for not pulling permits, and the fines have gotten really big. So what I used to do and what I would do today are completely two different things. I'm pulling permits on everything today. It's bad at my city. They'll even charge me fines for non-permitted work that was done before I even owned the house, is how bad it is in my city. So we're pulling permits on everything. But before we conclude this topic, I was talking about things that were dangerous or could be risky to life. When you're redoing electricity can kill somebody. It can burn a house down. It can hurt innocent children, babies, and even adults. So when you're dealing with electricity, always pull a permit when you're dealing with electricity. The last thing you want on your conscience or in your history is that you hired someone who wasn't licensed and you didn't pull a permit, and that house burned down and a baby got burnt in that house because of that neglect. That would be a horrible situation. And that's why I have always pulled electrical permits and always hired a licensed electrician. So when you're looking at your jobs, permit, no permit, look at the liability of that job. You know, there's other jobs that are like that. Demolition. You know, if someone tears out the wrong beam in a house at the wrong time, that house is going to fall, and maybe it'll crush them and other people working in the house. So there are jobs you definitely want to hire a pro that's licensed, that's know what they're doing, and that you want to permit and do everything right by the book. Think about this when you're deciding permit, no permit, okay? Think about, could this be life or death? And if the answer, it could be life or death, then there's no question. You pull the permit, you hire a licensed pro.